Welcome back. This is Amit Pathak. So I already completed one first video of form take. So here actually we are going to develop one web application using a struts, Hibernate and tiles and database as a MySQL. So I already we have one video. Just go through that project one video, and after that we are going to continue this project. So here we are going to run this project on the Tomcat, and I will see that what the functionality is working. So quickly refresh the functionality, what exactly we are going to do here. So here right click and search in the server, and after Tomcat 7 we are going to run it. So just configure Tomcat in your Eclipse, and after that just run that application. So application is starting. Servlet engine is starting. Sometime maybe it will take timeout related message because some more initialization is here and that functionality is loading. So yes, our application is running. So we will run it here. Okay, it's wrong. Will localhost. Yeah, so we can log in. So what this project is here, user can log in through user and password. If user don't have a user and ID and password, then new user can register here. After the register, they can log in here. Once he log in, that information related to particular user will show here, and we have a 3 functionality. They can post what the query is there, after they can view the query, and after they can log out. So here we have a home page here. So when they try to create a post query, they will click here, and according of that they search particular query. So now we are going to post Hibernate related query. So subject Hibernate core, and I am going to ask what is Hibernate or what is Hibernate core. Just one question. So when we will post this query, we can see this query here. So we'll select according of that query. So we are going to select Hibernate, web services and Java because we have a 3 only. So yeah, we have one query related to Hibernate that submitted by Sumit Prakash, that just now we submitted, and that subject is Hibernate core, and this is a what is Hibernate core. So here in this table itself we can modify, and we can update Hibernate core version 3.0, and we are asking this question or something. We just modify Hibernate, and then we would like to save it. Then we see that what is Hibernate. So again if we go to the post query, and again we'll come view query, then we see that same information what is Hibernate is here. So this idea is this form tag take what we will do, any person can log in and they can select particular technology. According of that they can ask question, and we can post the answer of the particular question, and we can cancel it. Either we can edit the question and we can write particular answer. So once a time if multiple user can add that multiple questions and answers, so we have a complete question bank kind of thing, and according of that particular technology we can search the question and we can give the answer. So here we are going to utilize a Hibernate core, as well as we are going to utilize a Strush technology as a web technology, and for this header, footers, left, right and middle body we are going to utilize a tiles. So we will see that how we can merge this all and how we can develop a loosely coupled applications. So here I already explained about Hibernate configuration and Hibernate mapping file. The next we will start with the functionality of the tech bin, and after that util classes. So Hibernate util I already describe how the configuration we are doing here. So now we will start with the DO, because this is a best point to start with what the functionality we are going to do. So here we have a query related functionality, and here we have a user DO related functionality, and their services also there. So other than we have a service, so here we have a query service and user service, and their implementation is here. And here we have a transfer for TO, where if query related object will become, then we can do the operation through query transfer object, because we would like to make the loosely couple between our application main core business logic and during the persistence classes. So here we will start with this query DO. So query DO have this 5 method where we will get the query, post the query, get total query, get all category and update the query. So this 5 method is here, and after that all implementation is available into query Hibernate query DO here. And the next is a user DO. So user DO have verify user and register user. So once we are going to log in, here we will pass username and password, and this method is responsible to verify that this user is correct or not, and this method is responsible to register the user. So if we have some new user comes and they want to log in and they don't have a user ID and password, so through that register user they can pass the complete user information, and after that we will convert into the user TO and we will pass into the Hibernate template and we will get it. The same kind of project I already explained about that mini project, as well as we have one other project where I deeply describe about all the functionality related to where we use a TO, where we use a DAO, data access object, how we are doing with factory methods, and all the design pattern related I already explained. So now if you go through the sequential video, so I am thinking it's very easy to understand. And after that we have a query service. We'll see this query service. We'll first see all the interface, then we can get the at least idea what exactly we are going to do here. So query related part, we have a query service. So we will do here a query service. We will do the same thing: post query, update query, get total query and get all category. And that same services we have a user services. There have verify user and register user. So query DO, a data access object, same thing, query, post query and user DO, we have this one. So here we are going to write a services related to that particular functionality. So here it will be deal with the particular method. So we will start with here take for. So here we have a query. So its implementation we will write here Hibernate query DO. So like that, Hibernate query DO implemented query DO, and after that we are overriding this method. So get query, we are passing this pagination concept, because once the field become a here, so here this automatically pagination concept will be able to handle it. So once the more than 10 value will be show, so here we are showing that pagination showing 1 to 1. So it will be show like a Hibernate, like a Gmail kind of thing. Like I will show you here. Look like internet is a very slow. So once we can open the inbox, yeah. So here we have a pagination. that start with 1 to 50 and 8380 like that. So same pagination is there. So it will be so 20 or 30 amount what we search selected here. So we can set this one grid and all help. So after that when we'll click next, it will be go to the next. So same thing we apply here what Gmail is using. So same kind of pagination logic is here in our application. So once the more than total amount, what the total amount we will pass here. So what the total amount we are going to pass here, it will be reach that much row here. Then automatically next page will become. So now we have a 1 of the 1, that is just showing a 1 of the 1. So now it will be, if it is a 2, so it will show 1 of 1-1 of 2. So when we click the next page, then it will be show 2 of 1 of 2. So this type of that pagination will work, and we have through that pagination we can go one by one and we can see that all the table, because this idea, because once many people join this form take and they can add multiple query. So maybe we have a millions of query, and that time we have a difficulty to fetch data at a time and show data here. So because of that we are using a pagination concept. That concept I already explained many times. So what we are going to do here, so we have category name will pass. For this category name hold either the technology, any technology name like a Hibernate type of, or web services or Java as category. Now we have Java Hibernate web services. We can increase this category also. How we can increase, I will show you that after this explanation. So here we can pass this category. After that we will pass start. So if it is a first page, then we will pass here start with the 0, and total count. If we want to show 10 number of row here, then we will pass 10. If we want to show 20 number of row here, then we can set 20 here. So once it will be reached this 20 data return, the next time we will start will be 20 and total again will be 20. So what here it is happening, the session factory, it will be get say c-util.get session, and after dot session dot open session transaction session dot begin transaction, and here we are passing that query. What the query we are passing from query tables name, and this is a reference variable. So from query where query dot card name equal to this one. So card name equal to, either we will pass here as a card name equal to Java, then it is a set here Java. If web services, then it will be save web services. If Hibernate, then it will be set Hibernate. So this is the option here what the technology would like to set. That placeholder will replace the particular value. That placeholder we are going to set here. So we set here q dot set a string 0 and cat name, what the cat name we are getting here. So category, for example, we are getting a Java. So 0th position means this position we will count left to right, and this is the first placeholder. So plus first placeholder index is always 0. So we'll set here q set a string 0, and after that cat name, what the category we will get here. And after that pagination concept I already explained about that. Either we will use criteria, either we will use a HQL, both we will utilize, apply on the query, or criteria dot set first result, query or criteria dot set max result. So first result it will be point out that which index you would like to start, and total result it will apply how much data you want to fetch. So after that we have a list, q dot get list, we will get the complete query and we will iterate it. What actually we are going to do here, before of that one big project I show you that means mini project I show you that, where we have a property handler, where we are doing a query means converting particular object to transfer object, and that have a again they have, I will show you that. If okay, it's not here now, I will import that function and I will show you. So there we have a property converter. Through that we are converting particular query object to TO object and TO object to query object. But here we are directly doing that operation. So what we will do, we will travel query to up to next, and after that we will set into the KTO that particular query object, and here after once it will be complete, we will return that object. So we will travel through that, we will get the particular object as a TO here, and we will return as a particular query object. So here we have a loosely coupled thing, and it will be not dependent with the two different layer. Here the persistence classes object will be utilize a query TO object, and QTO direct query object will be utilized for presentation layer or business layer. So this method get query is responsible to get the particular query list with the pagination concept. Here the start will be a point out which index we want retrieve, and here total number of value, how much value will retrieve. So both are the integer value and this is a string value. So here what we are doing, we are taking the connection through the session factory, we are creating a session, after that we are created a transaction, and here are that query hibernate org.query, that we will create a query, and here we are passing this a string as a first value. That value we are getting as a category. For example, we try to search all Java related query, so we will pass Java here. So that's first position, because left to right we will travel and we will count the placeholder come which position. So it come in the first position, so first position index is 0. So we will set that q dot set a string in 0th position, and after that cat name that we are getting as a parameter. For example, we are getting a Java, we will set a Java. So the next, the int start is that there. So int start means we would like to retrieve the value in the index number 1. So it will become index number 1, and total value here we would like to retrieve 10. So here we will get the 10. After that, q dot list is responsible to return all the list here. So we will iterate that value and we will convert into and return it. So the next functionality we will see here. So that is a post query. So post query have a complete query object, will pass as a query object, and query object has query ID, subject, author, cart name means category name, post date and description. So here we will pass this complete query to TO transfer object. After that we will start the same thing. Session factory will get c hibernate util dot get session factory session, that's sf dot open session, after transaction session dot begin transaction, and here we have a query q equal to new query, and after that we are passing that particular object here directly. What before we did here, we did like key to dot set query, this kind of thing we created here through that setter getter method, but here we are doing through the directly constructor to initialize that value. So instantiation and initialization is done by here constructor. Before of that, here what we did, that instantiation is happened by default constructor and initialization is happened through the setter. So but here we are doing instantiation and initialization through that constructor. Both are the same, both the way we can get the complete object. So after session dot save, we will pass that q and we will get the particular value. If it is it successfully commit, then we will get the particular x value and we will return x. So here post query we will return particular 0 and 1. According of that we can understand that what the functionality is here. So if some exception will become, so I just wrote here x equal to 0. So whenever we will get returned like a 0, we understand that our post query will be not successfully completed. So during of that, even it is a change that, for example, here my int x equal to 0 and here int I is, if it's successfully done up to that, then maybe the value will be some positive number or 1 something is come here, but during of that commit some exception will occur. So it will be again, it will be a 0. So we will always returning 0 if some problem is there. If successfully, then we will get some positive value and we will return it. According of that, we can understand that post query is successful or not. According of that, we will do our operation. So here get total query is here. So again we will start the same logic. Here session factory will start C hibernate util dot get session factory, session equal to sf dot open session, transaction we will apply begin transaction on top of the session object, and after that we are creating a query object session dot create query, and we will pass that particular query. And here q dot set string, we will pass this string, what the string we are getting here. So it will be replace this placeholder, and now it will become a, like for example, if category name is a hibernate, then it will become like a from query where query dot category name equal to hibernate. So because we have a single placeholder, so that position is always 0. So we set here q dot set string 0 equal to category number. After that we have a size, and we will do that q dot list dot size. Through that size we can get it, and we will return this size. So this method is responsible to get total number of query, how much size of that query is there. Next method is there, get all category. So all the category we will show here under the this drop down. So we will get all the number of query, and we will show under the drop down. So this method is responsible to provide that particular value. So here what we are doing, session factory C hibernate util dot get session, again the open session begin transaction, and here we are doing this operation. So we are creating a session dot create query, we are passing from category cat. So we will get all the information related to category, and we are iterating, and we are adding all the category under the list, and we are returning that particular list. So now we have a 3 Java hibernate and web services. So 3 object add inside this category, and it will be returned like here. So next method is the update category. So we will provide a category TO object. Again we will convert this TO object to query object, and we will do that operation. So doing that operation, we will start with the session factory C hibernate util dot get session factory, session dot sf dot open session, transaction dot session dot begin transaction. So we will do that operation. Always we are doing this operation. We can move this operation to other file also. So here our query q equal to new query. We will start that initialization and instantiation through that parameterized constructor. We can do here through that default constructor and setting method also. How we can apply here in this method, first method. We can utilize this functionality also, but okay, we are going to utilize through default constructor as well as setter and parameterized constructor. So I have a query object to converted by query TO object. So the next thing is there, we'll set that q dot set query id, query dot get query id. After that session dot update, will pass that q, and we will commit it. So here this method is responsible to update. So next here in this service method, query service and all, we will call this query do or user do. We will directly call this method. So here this two layer have loosely coupled. Whenever we would like to change anything, we can change here. So this package com.takeform.do, it's almost completed, and we will move into the service. So service, again we have the same, like here query do and user do, we have a query service and user service. Before of that we are using a hibernate template. We will move complete this code inside that hibernate template or query user template. We can develop in the project 1. We are using some template pattern, but right now we are not using any template pattern. We are directly writing under the do, and after that we are creating a service. There we are calling that particular do, and through that factory method, factory do, we are getting that do and we are utilizing it. So what the service query will be do here, service do, what the functionality is there, we already see. We can apply in service query the same thing, what the functionality here in the query do. So we have a post query, update query, get total query, and get all query. So we will write that implementation here. So no much more changes is here. So we will get that query services implement. Once we will implement, we have to overwrite all the method that is available in this particular interface. So we just overwrite post query. Here we can, what we will call, get do factory. So this do factory dot get query do dot post query do. So do factory have all the object related to user do and query do. We are initializing that both user do and query do through that static initialization, because we would like to singleton. So once that class will be load, a static block will be execute at only one time, and after that it will be not execute any time. So a static block will be start and it will be initialize that user do as well as the query do, and after that we have a two method that get user do and get query do. They are responsible to return user do and query do. So we have a static method, both are the static methods, so we can directly call through that class name. So we can call, like if you would like to call this get user do, so we can call like do factory dot get user do. We can call do factory dot get query do. According of that we can directly call. So exactly same what the way I explain here, we are going to here in this implementation. So we are calling this post query. Like first we are getting that do factory dot get query do. So query do have the this get query function. So query do we have a get query function, hibernate query do. Here we have a get query function. Oh, hibernate query do, yeah. So we have a get query function here. Get query function. So first we will get instance of that hibernate query do. That instance will be provided by do factory. Here we have a static initialization and have one method, that is a static method. Through that static method we will get that particular instance, and we will use that particular instance do factory dot get query do. So this is a similar kind of thing what we are writing here. So it will be returned do factory. So sometime if we don't know what it will return, I recommended that just write a string some do factory, like do query. Something. So here we will get the complaint what exactly we want. Just click here one time, and here that will say that you just change it. So we know that here this functionality is returning a query do. So same we can do like that do so its implementation, query do implementation is hibernate query do. So we'll create hibernate query do. So both are the same thing. How we are getting through that factory method do factory dot get query do, and how we are initializing through new here query do dot to hibernate query do. Both we are getting a hibernate query object, and both object we can call this post query method. How we are calling this post query method, we'll get here dot post query method. We can pass this thing. So both method will not complain anything. So what we are doing here, exactly this one is same. So this two step one and this 18, this one is both are the same. Here we are doing this two step, and here we doing a two step. One thing we have to change here, Yeah, so what we are doing here and what we are doing here, both the same thing. Both through that both steps we can achieve our target. Here both we have to call post query method, and both the way we can call a post query method. But only one problem is there. Think about that, how many time we can call post query, that much time we will create a new do query here when we call new Hibernate do query. So for example, if thousands of users active and they try to post the query, and maybe 10 query they created, then 1000 multiply by 10,000 do query one object will be created, and that will be leave into the particular memory. So it will be create a huge problem in memory management. But what happen here, whenever how many time we can contact this method, it's not a problem. That always go to do factory and get query do, and this method it will be not instantiated any time, because here initialization code inside that static block, and after that this static method is responsible to return back the particular object itself. So we will get here the one benefit is that will be achieve singleton kind of thing, and we will get always, even we can call many time, thousands or millions or billions of time, we will get only one object, only one instance at the time in one running environment it is available, and through that we can call post query method. Here how many time that particular method will be called, that time that new Hibernate do will be instantiated. So this is a one problem that will be solved by the DAO factory. And this is also, you can say that if someone will ask what is the benefit of the factory method, what is the benefit of the factory pattern, we can say that we can utilize a factory pattern as a initialization of the particular singleton instance. So I think I am able to clear this logic why I am going to utilize this singleton. So here we already have a DO object, so we no need to do this two steps here. We will see that we already have an instance. So we no need to do again and again. So both are the same thing. So update query, I don't have any functionality right now, so we will implement it. Now update query is not updating anything, and here get query we are passing category, and this start and total, same thing how we can implement it, that get query inside that functionality. So we already have update query here. Hibernate, we have update query, so we just have to call this update query. So update query we are calling query TO object. So it is exactly same how we are doing a save query. So update we can do here, update directly. Update query, we pass this. We are not returning because this is a void. And here get query, we will call this pagination concept, start, total, this concept, that implementation is available here. Get query with pagination concept. So next is a get total query. We'll call get total query in the do factory, and here we have a get all category. We will get all the category related to either Java web services and all what the category table have the information. So we will get it quickly. We will open this MySQL itself. So we will see that how the table structure is there. I already saw in the first video, but we'll go through that again. So show database. So databases. So we are using a visual path 23. So we'll use visual path 23. So here many databases is there. In that name, through that name we can move the particular database. So we are going to see here the visual path 23. So we'll just write a use 23 and it will be moved to 23. We'll write so tables. So we'll see the tables. We have a category, we have a user, and we have a query. So category here, this method get all category. Here do factory dot get query do dot get all category. Here they will fetch the data of all category. Select a star from category. So Java, Hibernate and web services is there. Now we will see that category table that have only 3 value. So that value is populating here. Here Java, Hibernate and web services. So we will insert here a new value that is called Spring. So insert into the category cat ID, cat name, value. So now we have a table. We have a 4 category. So post query. So we'll see that we have a Java, Hibernate, web services and also a Spring. So here the view query Spring, we don't have any query here, so it will be so like that. So we will post the query related to a Spring. So we'll search like a Spring and we'll write Spring and description. What is a Spring? Spring and we'll post it. Let's throw some null pointer exception under the, because we modify a lot of places. Okay, we will check quickly what the functionality. So if we submit in other like a Hibernate, yes, common null pointer exception is coming. We have to run this because we are changing many places, so maybe some functionality is broke. So we will modify this function and we'll check that what exactly exception is coming here. So when they try to post query bin dot query, that time it's getting exception. that post query bin dot java 45, that 45 line, that setter getter something will getting a problem. Okay, it's not a big problem. I don't want to waste your time here to exploring this exception related part. So I will continue here to understanding this functionality. So right now we have completed query services. All the services we went through, and we understand how we can call post query, update query, get total query, and get all category. The same thing we will have a user DO. So user DO, they have a two functionality. They can verify the particular user, and after that they have to register the particular user. So during the registration we will pass that user TO object, and here that TO object, through that we can register the user. So what the user information will be there, through that transfer object, user transfer object we will get, and we will push inside the database. And here verify user, we will pass the user name as well as the password, and that verify user method is responsible to verify that user authenticated or not. If it is not authenticated user, then we be not allowed to log in this form tech application. If authenticated user, then we will allow that login in the particular application. So here we have a user DO. So user DO implementation available under the Hibernate user DO. So when we are going to write some functionality under this one, so what we will do, first we will implement the user DO. So Hibernate DO is there. Other than you can also write user DO IMPL. You can write Hibernate DO IMPL. So this is a modern day we are using a IMPL. So we can understand that if we are using some interface like a user DO, and we can utilize the same thing user DO IMPL, means that particular interface implementation available under the IMPL. So either we can use Hibernate this one, or either we can use IMPL kind of thing. Both are the same, but standard wise if you want, we can use user DO IMPL. So once we will implement here, where we get the some error kind of notification. So just we will click it here one time, then it automatically suggests an add unimplemented method. So once we will click here, we have a to do option, what the functionality we are going to do, but we will get the complete structure. So what we have to do, we have to just provide the implementation. That implementation is that. So here what we are doing a verify user. So verify user, we are getting a username and password, and we will just go through the database and we will check that particular user available in there or not. If user available there, then we will check that particular password is correct for that user or not. That both information available inside that user table. So here we have a user table. User or users I think, yeah. So here we have a user table. We have a 3 user. That user ID is 1 2 3 and full name is Amit and Sumit Prakash. That email ID is amit@mail.com, Amit Pathak @gmail.com, and Sumit @visualpath.com, and that password is Amit123 Sumit Prakash, and that password is Amit12345. That is a user name, Amit123 and Sumit Prakash username, and password is Amit12345 Amit123 and Sumit this one. So whenever we will pass some like that, username is equal to Amit and password is equal to Amit12345. So username is unique. So first we will fetch the data, in particular data, that name username is Amit and what is the password of the particular username, and after that we will match what the parameter we are passing there as a username and password, that is a matching correctly or not. So same thing we are going to do here. So we just created a session factory. We are getting a session factory under the chibernate util.get session factory. After that, session dot sf dot open session, here we are opening the session. After we have a transaction, session dot begin transaction, we will start the transaction. So we are writing here query. So we will pass that from user, this is a reference variable of the user, where user dot username equal to what the first thing we are passing here, and user dot password, what the second thing password we are passing here. So we will set that value, we will start left to right. So this is a 0th position, this is a 1st position. So we will set q dot set 0. So we will pass username equal to what the username we are passing here, and q dot set string 1, we will pass that password, what the password we are passing here. After that, we will get the complete list. So we have here list. If list dot size greater than 0, then we will set this value and we will return this value. So UTO we are returning. UTO is the object of user, TO object, that user related all information is here. So we can check here and we will can return the boolean value itself. If this method will return a true, then we can understand that our user ID and password is correct, and if it is returned false, then we can understand that our user ID and password is not correct. But here problem is that when we are going to utilize a boolean functionality, then we have a just the condition to checking that user is correct or not, but here we would like to check all the user detail also. So we will fetch the complete data and we will return it. According of that, we have a complete data of related to user. So when we are going to show that data related to particular user here, so we can say show here. So for example, if Sumit Prakash is open, so we are able to see here Sumit Prakash, welcome Sumit Prakash. Sometime we would like to store that image of particular Sumit Prakash also, and we will show that Sumit Prakash image here also. Other information, if the address, phone number, email ID, something we have to utilize that functionality to building his home page, we can utilize it. So that kind of thing, if we have a complete object, then we can do here. So user do, user verify user will return complete object of the particular user if the user is there. If user is not there, then it will be returned null value itself. So if null value we will get UTO equal to null, then we can understand that user is not permitted, and we will just say that user ID and password is not correct. We will show that exception, we will show that error under the particular field. The next register user is here. Register user, what they are doing. So when we will call new register user, so we will pass full name, email ID, username and password, and we can sign up. So after that, what the value will provide, that sign up functionality will be handled by this user DO. So what user DO is coming, we will pass, take as a user TO. User TO have all information what we are passing here. So it have a full name, user ID, email, username and password. So that TO object we will take here. After that, we will create a session factory utilizing a c-net util and get session factory. So get session factory is a static method. Through that we can, through that class we can directly calling this get session factory. So after that, session dot sf dot open session, and after transaction, session dot begin transaction. So the transaction is started here. After that, we will convert this user TO to particular user object. To converting, we can directly utilize that constructor. So means here initialization and instantiation both are happening by the parameterized constructor. So no the default constructor, no setter getter we are using here. So after that, session dot save, we will pass that particular user and save it, and after that we will get the particular ID, and that also will set. So tx dot commit, and it will be done. So registration part is done. We will save the user information under the user table. So new user will be comes like that, user ID, particular user ID, full name, email ID, username and password. So full name, email ID, username and password will become what the value we are going to submit here by this form. But here this field user ID, this is a primary key. So primary key will be automatically come by the when we are auto generator we are registered in under the HBM document. So through that HBM document, Hibernate mapping document, what the ID generator will be registered there, that ID generator will be responsible to generate a user ID automatically whenever that required. Whenever we are going to push that data inside the table, that time it's automatically that ID will be generated, and after that what the user TO we are passing, like a full name, email, username and password, that will be merged and that will be pushed at a time in the particular table. So here we have a two method Hibernate DO. The two method, one method is responsible to the two method is verify user and register user. So verify user is responsible to verify that user. If user is a genuine user, that user ID and password is matched, then we will grant that permission and we will return complete user related information. So if you want to show that user related information in your text form, then you can utilize it. The next register user is there. So registration related part, what the value we will pass here, either full name, email, username and password. Through utilizing a Hibernate mapping, that will be generate a ID generator automatically. So after that ID, full name, email, username and password, we can submit inside the table and we will store data inside that particular user table itself. So here we done all the functionality, and what the method is there, same we are going to utilize under the user service here. So user service, again we have a verify user and register user, and here user service, through that we can call Hibernate user DO and we will get the particular functionality. Before of that, we are moving this all functionality into the particular template, Hibernate template class, but now right now we are using a DO class itself. So you can also move this all the functionality in make one template, Hibernate template, and move all the functionality in the same classes, and after that you will call directly a user service to that particular template dot verify user, template dot register user, as well as you can call this all the functionality related to query service, like a post query, update query, get total query and get all. So we can do same thing. So what user query we are doing here, that user service implementation is here. So here verify user, once we will get the user ID password, we will call DO factory. So we have a DO factory, after that get user DO is here and verify user ID and password. So get DO factory, I already explained about that. This is a one factory where we have a initialization under the static block, and here one method is there, that through public method we are able, means we are getting the particular object, and whatever the functionality we have do the top of that particular object we can do here. So we are calling DO factory dot get user DO and register user. So we will get here. The next thing is there, we have all the bin class that I already explained about inside that first video. Just go through that video, but we will show that here we have a category, we have a two value, cat ID and cat name, and after that we have a query have a some field, primary key, query ID, subject, author, category, post date and description. Here we have a user, so user related information, and this functionality related to mapping that I already explained into the first video. So this all are related to Hibernate, and little bit information here I will just explain about, that is related to struts. So you can utilize a servlet, a Spring, any UI technology, any MVC technology, through that you would like to handle your request and you would like to generate a particular response and you would like to send that response back to your presentation classes. And here the presentation related thing I utilize a JSP, that is a very just a JavaScript part. I will show you that also, and little bit tiles related functionality is here, and after that we can merge all the functionality and this text form related complete function will be ready, and we can deploy that for complete project inside that particular Tomcat and we can run. So next we will see that struts related functionality, that is a very easy. What the functionality we created, we will register that much bin and here we will return the particular object, and we will return the particular success and failure thing. According of that success and failure, we will navigate particular value on the particular bin. So I have a home bin here. So home bin, what we will write, just a class, a very simple class home bin. Here we are created a user to value, and home bin we have a face context, that is just one type of context object, and here we are getting a get current instance, and after that external context we are getting through that object get external context, and HTTP session we are creating through that external context dot get session, and we write a false here. And here what we will happen, get attribute, we are passing that particular value, and we are getting a get to complete user to object that I already created here. We will initialize here. The same thing we will write here, user to dot get user to, and we will return this complete value because already initialize here to object. So whenever we will call get to, it will be initialized here. Other than is a set user to, so this set to user dot we will initialize here. So we will call once home bin, that automatically initialize that. If we want to initialize some other value, we will pass here the value, we will initialize it. If we want to get user to, we will get user to, initialize user to, that I already here, and login action is here. So again we will create a faces context, and after that complete session object that I already created here in the view, where we will pass that true value, and after that we will check that if session not equal to run, then session dot invalidate. Here session will be invalidate, and we will do that return equal to success, where this success will be work. Just remember that we are returning a success here. The next time we will check that where it is a success will be working here. So this is a just a bin classes, that is just a factory classes, where we are getting a do factory dot get user do or kind of thing. That is the same thing there. This is a login bin class is there, and login bin class have a username and password. We are going to verify that. That's so setter and getter is there. Here verify user is there, and after that we are passing that. Again we are creating a faces context dot get current instance, and after that we are calling user do dot verify user. That user do dot verify user I already implemented here, so its implementation is also available here. Just press control button or move the cursor inside that, so you will get open declaration, open implementation, open return type. So just click open implementation, so it will provide an implementation method, and with that will be show here. So we have this implementation method that I already explained about that. Through that we can check that if user is verified. So I already explained about that. Verify method will be returned user to object. So user to object will be returned, and we will check that if user to is not null, means it is a successfully authenticated, that user ID and password is correct. So what we will do, we will pass here str equal to success, and after that we will create an external context object, and will set that particular external context object under the set attribute. So we have that object under the set attribute. So we will check we will get that value under the external context through the UTU. So UTU object, through that we will get the particular object. If it is a not, if it is a null, means that the user ID and password is not correct, so we will pass here that failure, and after that fc dot add message, here we will pass some message login. So new user face some message, and that message we will get login user message, and we will show here like that Sumit Prakash something. So we will get body ID, this one, validation error, value required. So all the method, so that value, so we will show here user ID and password is not correct, and after that we will use this message. So whenever login error we will utilize under that JSP, I will show you that how we can utilize this one. Right now just remember this, how the value we are returning, either returning success, either returning a failure, how we can map that value and where we can move that particular control. So once the control comes here in the bin classes, how we can forward either to successfully home page, or how we can created some exception kind of thing and we will return back. So just remember this string value, what we are returning, either failure, either the success. The next is a post query. That same functionality we are going to do each and every functionality. So here post query, what we are doing, we are just query dot get all category, and after that we are iterating and we are doing that value and we are setting that particular value here. After that select item is there, so get card list, it will be returned this functionality, and set card list also will do that. And after few functionality here, through the getter setter method is there. So we'll do that post query main method is there. So we will pass that, we will get that particular value. So here we are doing that post date, and here we are doing some wrong date information, that the date we are storing here. So date is a so we have a category table, we have a user table, and we have a query table. Select star from query. So what the date is generated, like a 35119 45119, the date is generating in wrong format. So because of this our logic, so we are doing a date d is equal to new java.util date, after that post date equal to date d dot get date, d dot get month, and d dot get year. So this logic will be generating a wrong date. New class, just we will check under the main method. Just check. So because we are getting a 5499 kind of thing, and it is taking a system date. So date is correct. So better of that we can utilize a calendar itself, and according of that we will convert it. So here what we can do now, if we run this one, it is giving a wrong date format. Actually whenever this cross will come, this is a deprecated method. So deprecated method is not recommendable to use, that reason this functionality is wrong. So here we have, when we will create a date, like when we will create a date, hibernate util date, d equal to or date equal to new date, and after that we have a simple date format. Simple date format. This is java.text. Simple date format as sdf equal to new simple date format, and here we will pass that pattern how would like to create. So we'd like to create like a date first, and then month, and then year. So no need this one, that much big construction. And here what we will do, directly stf dot get format, stf dot format, and we'll pass date. We'll check that what the value this is returning. So we got this one. So even this, again it's a wrong. So double here, or that behave is like that. So this is a 53rd. Yeah, so problem is there here. What we will pass the pattern, so pattern must start with capital, like capital, and after that we can pass anything. If we run like that, then it will work fine. So now 6/4/19, when we will put the small, then its behavior is changed. It's like 550499. So here pattern must be start with capital itself, and even we can write here 4y. I need a complete. So now it is coming perfectly. So we can utilize this same functionality here in our application. So where we are generating this date and post date, so we just write our functionality here itself. And after that we will do stf dot format, stf dot format date, and we will generate date here. Java dot util date d equal to new date. So now we'll get correct date. Before of that we are getting some wrong date. At user related information, select now query information. Yeah, that post date. Now 351194519. Now just we created one hibernate related. Now we get the 45119. So it's a not date. So some problem is there. So but this functionality is work fine, and it will generate a perfect date. So here post query method is there. So it's responsible to post our query, and it just calling this few functionality, and internally they call, and that will be a return that particular str value, its success or failure. So here all the bin what they are doing, they will set some value under the particular do dot post query. They will call just functionality, and after that they will do that fc dot set message. They will set message if something is wrong, or set the failure, and failure and success how will handle, we will show you that in next. So next is a single bin. So sign up bin, what they are doing, they have just register user related, and they will register the user. So here we have a TU, so we'll get the TU. After that user do dot register user, that I already explained. So faces context, we will get the current instance. After that we will check if functionality is not perfect, we will not get any user ID, then we will show that failure, otherwise we will show it success. If success is there, we will set that value under the particular value here, get external context, and after that we will get as a success, and we will pass this value in under the set attribute. So now we have a under UTU, we have a TU object. So whenever we will forward this request under the particular JSP file, we will check that DTU, and according of that DTU we have a complete value of TU, like a full name, email, user ID or password. We will retrieve it, and whenever we want we will show that. And view query bin also, that view query bin we have all the functionality. So view query bin, we have a query dot get all category. We are doing the same thing here what we did here in the login bin and all. So the same setter getter functionality is there, and one method is there that will be a view the query. So here we are calling get total query, and after that we are getting it, and after that we will pass here as a pagination, we will pass category name. So what the category will pass get here, we will pass category name, and a start, and the next will pass here. So according of that pagination concept this here, and we will call so hide link, and if nothing will there, then we will hide it link. And this is a get next query is there. So again what the if pagination, if we reach thus 10, then we will pass the next page is 10 plus 1, so it's 11. This is just a pagination concept, and we will return the 10. So get previous query, we will do the same thing here. We are passing a minus, and after returning the particular value. So once we are in third number page and we would like to come 2 number page or 1 number page, then we will do this application. So here so hide link is again there, so through that we can hide that link. So view select query is here, and according of that when we want to select the query, again it will be called here query table dot get row data, and it will be populate that data here. And again the save edit query is here, that will be responsible to save it. So all bin classes information is done. What I show here, what I tell you, remember success and false, because all success and false will be registered under that particular configuration classes. So here we have to register all the bin first, and after that we will register that if what that particular bin will return false, then where we will redirect. If that bin class will return true, then where will be redirect. So here we have a managed bin. Under the managed bin will register that. This is quite similar to how we are registering the servlet. So here manage bin, this is a login bin, and after that we will provide a class like a login bin, and here we will store this bin as a session. So we can session as it is the HTTP session scope. So this bin scope is the particular session. Again a second bin, what the bin we already created here, and what I explained about that part, all the bin. So all the bin we have to register here under that configuration document. So managed bin we register as a sign up bin, and here we have a sign up bin, and this is also be registered under the session. Here this home bin is here, that will be point to home bin, and it is also session type. So post query bin, we have the complete classified path of the particular query bin, and we have a session here. So view query bin, again the same thing, and all will be registered in the navigation rule. So if the particular bin will return some value, according of that we will return means navigate the particular page. So here when will come navigation rule. So form view ID is login home.jsp. So navigation cache here. So if here in this table this JSP file, if that is returned a success, then we will go to the visual path home.jsp. So where we will get this all we will get success and false under that, like login home or home bin. So if home bin will be returned here success, so we will go under the, we'll check here. So if it is a success, then we will go visual path home. If it is written failure, then it will go home, login home.jsp. Again, all the bin, what the bin will return, according of that we will navigate the particular request in the particular page. So if sign up home.jsp, if we return success, then we will move into the visual path.home. If failure, then we will remove sign up home. If post query.home it is a success, then visual path home. Otherwise, if failure, then we will post query.home. So this is a navigation rule, and this is a bin configuration, and we have the bin here. I already explained how we can write that bin. Only two things we have to do under that, this configuration. Next thing is that tiles and how we are using this JSP page. So I will explain this both in the next video. So according to that, we have a one project, that 3 video is there. One first video I already explained about that, and second video, this is a second video, and third video I will explain about tiles, how we are doing the tiles logic and how we are using a JSP. So now the stores related and Hibern related complete task is done, and we are on the position where we can understand about tiles and JSP. So till now it's a thanks. I will come in the third video, that there I will explain about tiles related concept and JSP concept. Until now, thanks for watching the video.